Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. I wanted to do a really quick video this morning just because of everything that's going on. And yeah, I don't think anybody's really panicking, nor should they. But I think this is just a reminder of as far as your own prepping and where you are at in that. So I want to look at the 6 pillars of prepping. And we're going to do this in the SWOT form, SWOT, which means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So the first one obviously is food. So what are your strengths with where you are in prepping your food? Do you have a good variety? Okay. Are you able to be creative in the way that you use what you have in your prepping pantry? Weaknesses. Maybe you don't have enough of one thing or another. Maybe you don't have enough of your basics like oil or lard or fruit, seasonings, salt, sugar, flour, that type of thing. And then look at your opportunities for food. Can you grow it? Do you have a place to grow it? Can you hunt? Is there a lake nearby that you can go fishing on? So how can you build up that sustainable food source? And then what are your threats? So do you have all of your food in one location? That's not a good idea. You want to try to spread that out. Are you able to protect it? Do you have a backup plan in case there is a drought or pests or, storms? The next one is water. So the strengths. Do you have catchment systems? Do you have a generator, a backup generator that will run your well so that you always have access to fresh water? Or do you have a hand pump? Do you have a way to continue getting that fresh water? Do you have any weaknesses? Do you have a natural source next to you, like a river, a stream, a lake? Do you have a way to get the water? Do you have a way to sanitize it using a filtration system? And when you think about water, you can't just think about what everybody drinks. You got to think about hygiene, so washing, right? Doing the laundry, doing the dishes. Do you have a way to heat up water? Do you have a way to, did you put enough aside for your pets as well? And then looking at your opportunities, do you have a way to build more water catchment systems? Can you put some kind of a generator near a small pond that might suck up that water closer to you? And then what is your threats? Okay, can that water be easily contaminated from the outside? What happens if there's a drought? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have a way to conceal your water tanks, your extra water that you have? Are you able to protect your water from something like nuclear fallout? Okay. The next one is shelter. So this isn't just in terms of like having a roof over your head, right? On your property or your bug out location, do you have areas of cover and concealment? What are the strengths in your bug out location? Do you have the heat sources? Do you have a way to cool down if it's, if you live in an area that gets 120 degrees for 8 days, do you have a way to cool down? What are the weaknesses? Again, being able to have that backup heat source, especially in the winter, is extremely important. Are there areas on your property or your bug out location that you cannot see visibly, either with cameras or from being wherever your lookout posts are, or however you have your perimeters set up? So look at where the weaknesses are in that. And then opportunities. Are there ways that you can shore up that cover? Can you set up pallets with sand in between or rocks, giving you places to actually have cover and then try to conceal that somehow with shrubbery or whatever. And then what are your threats? So do you have woods that are really close to your house? That could be a threat. Unless you have a way to look at all of your woods without everybody having to go out there. The next one is security. So what are your strengths? You know, does everybody, when you do your exercises, does everybody just know where to go? Right? Are they instinctive? Do they have the proper training? Okay. So what are your weaknesses? Do you have your guns staged? Do you have enough people to defend your position? Are there people or kids that might make it a little bit too noisy? Do you have enough strategically placed cover and concealment locations throughout your perimeter that you can easily go from one to another? And then what are your opportunities? So can you bring in more people to help, especially with the security part of it? And then look at where your threats are. If you have areas on your property or your bug out location, whatever, where intruders could easily hide as they come up to your perimeter, that would be a threat that you would need to assess and figure out how to fix that. The next one is communications. What are your strengths? Does everybody have their walkie-talkies? Does everybody know how to use them and communicate with them? Are you using code words? Okay. So that you're not giving away how many people are there, who's all there, right? What are your weaknesses? Do you have a way to know what's going on outside of your location? Do you have backup power for either your cameras or your CBs or your ham radios or your walkies, whatever you're using? And then opportunities. Do you have a way to build a tower on your property that you can get better signal, reach out farther? Do you have a way to signal that you need to change your channels on your walkie-talkies? Okay. And then your threats, as far as communications go, do you have a way to know where everybody is at any given time? So if there is a threat, marauders come in or whoever it is comes in on the property, you have to know exactly where everybody is at any given time. Do you have a way to do that? The last one is health. What are your strengths? So do you have a lot of medical supplies put aside? Do you have enough of your medications? Okay. What are your weaknesses? Do you have training or do you need training in other specific areas? Do you have a way to organize an actual medical area in your location? Can you actually organize it and have it set up and ready? And then also, what do you do with chronic conditions? So what are your opportunities? Do you have a way to build or set aside an area, small location that would serve as your medical part? If you watched Homestead, they had this huge, basically medical bay with everything that they needed, plus they had doctors, the two doctors. But do you have an opportunity to do that? Do you have an opportunity to bring in those types of people into your mag group that could assist in setting something like that up? Make sure that you have an opportunity to print out your basic first aid medical stuff. So you can print off signs and symptoms of a heart attack or a stroke, foodborne illnesses, especially because you're going to be probably using a lot of your canned goods. You want to look for botulism and all of that kind of stuff. So do you have the opportunity to print some of that off and just have it in a place that's easily accessible? And then what are your threats? So do you have a way to isolate or decontaminate somebody who's been affected? Do you have a lot of the basic materials that you're going to need? And what are you going to do if a virus or something comes in that is spreading from one person to another? You know, that's a threat to the health of your community. So do you have a way to isolate that and take care of it? So I just wanted to put this really quick out there. I am going to be doing that video on the bird flu. There's some things that I'm looking up. Like I want to know how they actually test for it. Why do they already have a vaccine out for H1N5 or whatever it is? So there's some things I'm still researching on before I do that video, but that one will be coming up soon. But this one, I just wanted to make sure that I got this one out there. Your 6 pillars: food, water, shelter, security, communications, and health. And then you need to look at it in terms of SWOT, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I hope this helped. Please hit that like button. Please, please, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and God bless.